Welcome to New Perspectives. I'm your host, Barry Lefkowitz. I come to you each week with issues and topics that you'll generally find in the news. As you know, New Perspectives is designed so that you get a perspective, and hopefully we're able to educate and inform you on that particular topic or issue. We often see on television men and women of the Secret Service who are responsible for protecting the president, who we often don't realize, but they are actually laying their lives on the line to protect the president. However, the reality is we know nothing about those particular individuals and how they ended up in such a perilous job. My guest today, Leth Oun, who I believe, in my opinion and others, is truly a profile in courage, who will share with us an immigrant story to his life as a U.S. Secret Service officer. Leth was born in Cambodia in 1966, and he was 8 years old when his father, an officer in the Cambodian army, was executed by what we call the Khmer Rouge. Leth, with his mother and sister, were enslaved for almost 4 years in what is known as the Killing Fields. And there's a whole history which I want to be able to have Leth share with us about his journey through the Killing Fields for 4 years, the journey with the refugee camps, coming here as a 17-year-old, penniless and not speaking English at all. And yet today, this gentleman is responsible for helping protect the president. And before President Trump, he was responsible for President Obama. And before President Obama, he was responsible for President Bush. Leth, it's my pleasure to have you on air today.
Thanks for having me.
I know that you're in the process of working on an autobiography,
Yes, sir.
which will take us through this whole history. But before we talk about the book, which we're hoping is going to come out in 2020, why don't you share with our viewers what it was like at the time when the Khmer Rouge, led by Pol Pot, who was the leader, seized Cambodia's cities, and share with the audience that terrible atrocities that you went through as a child in Cambodia at the time.
My family and I also live in Battambang City, which is a northwest city of Cambodia. And my father is a Lieutenant Army of Cambodia during many years. I had the opportunity to go to school, attended a few years in elementary school. We had friends. I enjoy learning a lot with, what they have. After Cambodia New Year 1975, the Khmer Rouge invaded the Cambodians. Took my father away.
Now, they were communists, correct?
They were communists.
Okay.
They took my father to prison, executed him, along with many other soldiers and armies. On that day, my family was forced evacuation from the city. Many days, weeks, we walked on the street, sleeping with nothing on top, on the ground. with a small group of people. And we finally arrived in one of those abandoned factory where we finally stayed there and overseen by the communists. After that, they forced us to work on rice paddies 18 to 20 hours a day, regardless of how old you are, with a small food-fed, no medicines.
Right.
Many died of starvation, overworked, exhaustions, or execution, that matters.
How many days a week did you have to work this 18 to 20 hours a day?
7 days a week.
In other words, every single day?
Every single day. From sunrise, sometimes to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And many times, we never made it home because we were so exhausted. We had to sleep on the paddies for the next morning. It was a tough day. And most of us didn't think we were going to make it through. And most of them. Most of the time, they threaten to kill us if you don't work hard, if you have to stay in the paddies, rice paddy, all the time. We have to show them we really worked hard. If we don't, they will execute us right there and then. So,
how many, I'm curious, how many Cambodians of the nearly 8 million at the time actually perished during this time period?
approximately 1.7 million Cambodians died of hard work, executions, injury, starvation, exhaustions out of probably 8 million Cambodians.
So, yeah, for the audience's purpose, we're talking about between 20 to 25% of the entire
population
of
in 1975.
Cambodia.
Yes.
One thing that I thought was curious, when you left the city and before you started working in the rice paddies and everything, you actually went to a family member's home. And it was just your sister, if I recall, and your older sister.
My older sister.
And your mom.
My mom, yes.
And what happened that your family actually turned you away?
We asked to stay there, hopefully stay there permanent, but because of the communists who will kill anybody who has a family members as any government official, especially in the military, they will kill everyone or entire family. Because of that, they will not let us stay there. Actually, they tell us to keep on moving. And for us, there's no destination, there's nowhere we can call home.
Now, you also had a younger sister who I think you thought at the time had been executed by the Khmer Rouge.
1975, after they forced us, we couldn't go to get her. She was staying with my grandmother, which is far away from us. We have not heard anything for many years, and we thought that they were killed because, you know, she's one of sister, and of course our father is a lieutenant army of Cambodia.
Which was your father?
Yes.
Yeah. How long had you spent in what we refer to as the killing fields in these rice paddies? And I think the audience should be aware you had no shoes or anything when you had to work in the rice paddies.
We had no shoes. We had no so-called raincoat, hat. It's pretty much short sleeve shirt and short pants. That's everyday life. And sometimes we have to eat food while it was raining. There's no shelter, there's nothing, and most of the time when it rains, the water drops from the ground, it goes into our plates. So it makes us like we have more food, but actually it's not food, it's just water from the rain. We don't have anything special but salt and rice. Rice soup, pretty much. Yeah.
Now, how long were you in the rice paddies under guard by the Khmer Rouge?
18 hours, we have maybe 5 minutes, we call a break. That's when we eat. So they rang the bell, we get up, rush to get food, ate quickly, and went back to paddy. There's no break, we get relaxed, it's nothing. It's all about work, work, work. So 18 hours, it most likely is 17:45 minutes and 15 minutes break out 18 hours, just to eat within 15 minutes of 18 hours.
Now, you were what age when you were under control of the Khmer Rouge?
9 years old.
All right, you were 9 years old. How many years were you in captivity of the Khmer Rouge?
3 years, 8 months, 10 days for the entire communist region.
I remember reading so much stuff that was sent to me about you, but I didn't realize you actually had it down to that time frame.
That's one thing, can't forget that.
But, all right, so 3 years and 8 months, 10 days. What happened after that?
Then we have a Vietnamese troop called liberated the whole country. They forced all the communists out of the city.
Right.
And we thought it would be back to pre-war, but it wasn't. It became more chaotic for us. And after the Vietnamese invaded, I walked home. On the way home, I was captured by the Khmer Rouge, the communists. Took us, me and my friends, into one of the buildings, interrogated us like 8 hours long, beat us, put the noose on our neck, beat, spit on, urinate on, just to make us confess that we are a spy. They accused us of a spy for Vietnamese, and that's why the Vietnamese invaded. But my friend and I were on the way home. That was it. And that time, I thought I wouldn't make it.
And that was, you were about 13 at the time?
About 13 years old, okay. 12, 13 years old. And, God helps me, and God's on my side. I make through it.
Now, from there, because I remember reading, they let you go.
Yes.
And where did you go from there? And I know that you then linked up with your mother and sister.
Another comedy came up while they interrogate me after get beaten, blood, nose, and swollen face, and all that kind of thing. They said it's the second Vietnamese troop moving up, so we have to go. So that's when they decided to let me go. And my friend, I don't know if he would have made it. I never seen him ever since. After I left there, I was on my way back to my hometown in Battambang Bong City. So that's where my mom told me everything happened. We'll meet everybody there.
Right.
But because I was just getting beat up, get stung by scorpions and all that kind of thing, and, the will of live make me go through the whole thing. So I walked home to my old house, slept on the street like a homeless, ran to a couple of families. They were nice enough to give me food, waters, asked me what happened, so I told them. The next morning, they went on their way. I kept on going to my hometown. So, of course, when I got there, the house was burned down. There's nothing left anymore. And I don't know, I don't have any relatives, anyone I know I could just go to stay with them. So I went to the market, used to be not far from my house. I slept on the street there with no food, with no water, rain, it just being a homeless again,
Right.
Of course, the body's still swollen for interrogation. Until the next morning, on my way back to the village where they captured me. And of course, it takes me a few days to walk back there, slept on the street, ran to another family who helped me through it, gave me some water, gave me feed some, small meal. asked me where I'm going. I said I was looking for Mom. Of course, my mom was captured and kidnapped. We don't know if she's going to be alive or not. It's just my sister and a newborn baby. That was it. It takes about 3-4 days to get back to the village and ran to my sister with her baby.
All right, we're going to have to stop you there because we have that thing known as commercial break. So stick with us. And when we come back, Leth will share with you briefly about having been in a refugee camp for several years.
Several years, sir.
And then coming to the USA and eventually becoming a Secret Service officer protecting the president. So be right back. Take care.
It's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio and within 48 hours have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios without the shells. They're protein-powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me.
Welcome back to New Perspectives. I'm your host, Barry Lefkowitz. When we went into our break, we were having Leth Oun, who is truly profiles in courage of having been involved when the Khmer Rouge took over Cambodia and wiped out almost a quarter of the entire population of Cambodia. You were sharing a number of experiences, but why don't we sort of fast forward, because I do want to be able to get into talking about your experience as a Secret Service officer, and I know that your mom plays an extremely important role, and want to do honor by her on your behalf, and even see if we can get in to talk about your Secret Service dog training that you do. But real quickly, you ended up in a United Nations refugee camp.
Yes. After we left, Vietnam invaded, things getting tough. Let me go back one thing. One of my friends was killed, besides that was kidnapped, captured with me at night during the communist anyway. we snuck up at night to hunt rats, because that's one of the things we only eat to survive. I mean,
Right.
rat, it's something that people look at is, but it's just something basic survival, I guess.
Right.
What made it think. And he's only 10 years old, so they killed him. They hang him one of the poles in the village as a set up example. Back to Vietnamese, after the Vietnamese invaded, things getting bad, it's getting tight. My mom was only one, raised being a father and a mother. She had a lot of burden on her shoulders.
Right.
She had to be a mother and father and at the same time feed all of us. And she's not young anymore. So we found a new way to hopefully to make our life better, was to travel to Cambodia and Thai borders. And during the journey, we went through a lot of attack, explosion, body being killed on the street there. And sometime we caught right in the middle of gunfights, many days sometimes. The Vietnamese troop came up. They know we were on the way out, chased us. The Khmer Rouge know we're coming, chased us. So we went through a lot of dangerous landmine, people getting exploded. Food's running out, water's running out, so we ate what we found. That's included rats, if you find them, leaves and trees, water, there's no water considered clean. We drink water, our elephant footprints, the water from the rain.
Right.
It's basic survival, and you have to do what you have to do. I remember one time, there's a pond, it's kind of somewhat clear water. I was so thirsty one day, after I finished drinking, filled myself up, I look at the pond, there's like a few, they were like logs floating, but actually they were not logs. The three bodies, it's a husband and wife and a baby. The body was in a pond, decomposed there, but it was too late. I couldn't throw up or throw out anything. It's just too late. So I didn't tell my mom or my sister that's a dead body. So.
Obviously, quite an experience. But how long were you in the refugee camps?
We were at the camp outside inside of Thailand for about 7 months. We were there, and it was so dangerous. Attacked almost happened every day. People die, shot. It's made a thing happen. One day, the UN refugee relief came up and just like, you guys cannot stay here anymore. So they picked us up, put us on a pickup truck, considered personal carrier. It's packed up, we couldn't sit, so we stood on a truck all the way to the first refugee camp in Thailand. In there, we feel a lot safer. Even though it's in a barbed wire around it, but there's not going to be any attack on us.
Right.
We get fed and protection, somewhat freedom, even though we didn't have any shoes to wear. No haircuts, no money. My hair was long on my shoulder. My shoulder was
it's a little hard imagining
it's
that
a little
now.
hard to see now. But it was the first freedom we ever had after the communists, after living in the jungle, walked through many journeys with Mom. It feel good, but the bad thing is, I left my sister back home, my grandfather and my grandparents
Right.
at home. Since I'm only one boy in both of my families, and I was hoping one day I could go back to take him with me, but the thing never happens. 4, 5, 6 different refugee camps later, never get a chance to see them. But I have to give credit out to my mothers. She gave me the loves, protections, and raised us ever since my father's away. And when we came here,
And you came here at the age of 17.
at 17, my mother lived in our house with me ever since then. She passed away of 2018.
At the age of
At
101.
age 101. I hope I can live that long.
I hope so. Now, when you came here, you spoke no English,
No English, not a word.
and yet you ended up getting a college degree
Yes.
and kept moving up to the point in terms of the Secret Service. How did you make it coming here penniless and the fact you spoke no English?
I came here, the first thing, everything, it's shocking to me. The new cultures, new way of life, especially the weather. Cold considered Cambodia, like 65, high 50s considered cold. So I didn't know how cold it was here. So, walked outside with flip-flops, trying to go shopping, and it's not going to happen. So I told my mom, I said, I want to live in this country. The first thing I'm going to learn is speak English. I put a lot of time to it. I worked, I talked to people, asked people many questions, always open-minded. Put myself through college. Every summer I worked 2-3 jobs.
And what college did you eventually graduate from?
Graduated from Widener University.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I met my co-worker, Sam Stond. Graduated from there, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, get a college degree now, and now the thing is getting a job. Where am I going to work? I don't know anybody. This is new life, it's a new country for us. So I ending up work for the social workers for the city, and then
what city?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? Okay.
And then the Department of Justice called me, and it was the funniest thing ever happened. I applied for the job, and they called me, like, your name is Leth Oun. I said, yes. Would like to offer a job. I said, what kind of job did I apply for? When I heard the Department of Justice, I was getting scared of what did I do wrong, So they said, no, we'd like to offer you a job. I said, a Cambodian refugee status miles away to work for the federal government, it's the next move for me. After 9/11 happened, I wanted to join the Army volunteer to serve the country, to go to Afghanistan. One of my friends worked for the Secret Service, called me up, said, why don't you come with us? We need people. So I told him, I said, I wasn't born a citizen, I'm naturalized.
Right.
It's like, as long as you're citizens, you can get a job. And I did apply. 6 months later, here I am. It's one of the happiest moments in my life. Again, thousands of miles away, can't even know English, no money, as a refugee status. Never dreamed of it, never thought about becoming a Secret Service officer.
Well, unfortunately, they were waving us to let us know that we've run out of time. I'm going to have you come back because, I would love to be able to talk to you about your training of Secret Service
Yes.
dogs and other things like that. But you're in the process of authoring a book, which is an autobiography
Yes.
to share this journey that you've been through.
Yes.
And what is the name of the book going to be?
Right now we have as American refugee dreams, from Cambodian killing field to protecting the American president. That is the title we chose so far.
Well, hopefully, when we have you come back next year, you'll be able to share with our audience your book. And I will share quickly, there is a book called Secret Service Dogs, and there's a whole chapter in here
Yes.
on you.
It's
So-
chapter 13 of the book.
That's Lucky 13.
Lucky 13, that is correct.
So I want to thank my audience, as always, for allowing us to come into your homes each and every week. You have a great holiday, and we thank you. And Leth, we thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
your story.
Thanks for having me, sir.
And you take care.
Thank you.